Good evening, ComicsGate. Welcome to Arch City Comics. I am Adam AF. Joining me this evening for CG Jumpstart Between the Panels, we have the master editor, the editor supreme, really, of ComicsGate, the real Steve Dye.
Hell, brother. Thank you for having us. Hell.
Thank you for coming back again.
Well, I'm not trying to be a weekly guest, but if all the artists are, laying in their own vomit in the gutters, then it's all writers and editors up in here. Let's go.
Hey, you know what? We are the writers and the editors are the true workhorses of this community anyway. In my mind, anyway. Unsung heroes is what we are.
Yeah, absolutely. We show up. That's what we do.
Also tonight, of course, on the bottom here, the madman behind Vestige, behind CG Jumpstart, behind many, many other projects. You know him as the Wizard of War campaign. It is Gat Hanzo.
Hail, brother. Hail. It's good to be here, man. I always like coming on here and talking about my shit.
Hail. I love having you guys on. It's always such a great conversation. You guys are like the power team, I think, in CG, right?
Wow. That's impressive. All right. Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I'm not even just trying to blow smoke up your ass. I think you guys are the powerhouse. You guys are doing so much, and it's all good shit. And
well, I'll say, Adam, they're about to find out, right? Like maybe not yet, but shortly. Like I said, the Vestige is coming, and then the proof is in the pudding there, and then we're gonna go through some of Jumpstart tonight. So you may be right. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think people even quite realize, you talk a lot about your projects. You got, obviously, Vestige is coming out. We've seen the proof copies in the wild, and all I hear is just rave reviews.
Yeah, a couple of the guys, they got the red carpet treatment. And yeah, I just got my proof copy. It was like a day or two ago. So I'm flipping to this thing, and I know it's just a proof, but oh man, like
it looks fantastic.
Yeah, people are, not even looking at the art, not even thinking about the story, just holding the book and filling the book, and like it's just quality. It's fucking great. I think people are gonna be satisfied with what we're giving them. We're not giving them a cheap product. Number one, we're gonna take care of it when we ship it. And yeah, man, I think that's the number one, the most important thing. Now, that being said, I'm really excited to hear the reaction of people that bought Vestige. So, yeah, man, I can't fucking wait. It's going to be another week or so. I think it's going to take another at least week or 10 days after we place the order, as far as for the book show up here. But as soon as they show up, these motherfuckers are going out the door. I'm not stopping until everyone, last one of them are out my door. So people are going to get their books quick. Let's put it that way.
I feel like at the a lot of people at the consumer level may or may not understand just how much work goes into all of these projects, and that's fine. We just want them to enjoy the book. But for the aspiring creators out there, real briefly, like I see Vault Cobalt in the chat, and he's working on a project, and I'm kind of helping him along with it. And I always caution people that it is not easy. It is, it's more labor pains than a man would ever, a man doesn't want any labor pains, obviously, but but when you actually hold the work product in your hands, you work on it, and you almost get sick of it. And when you actually have it in your hands, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Yeah. So we're really looking forward to having everybody get their copies of Vestige. I think they're going to be really, really happy with it.
Well, and yeah, it's kind of funny that you mentioned labor pains, because Gat, this is essentially Vestige is your firstborn son.
Yeah, it's my baby.
It's your baby. It's your first baby of many beautiful babies that you're going to produce into this world.
But the first one's always special, though. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Exactly. There's always that special place in your heart for your firstborn, and you got your proof copy. You get to hold your baby in your hand. Oh yeah.
You know what I did? Like I took it out and I didn't even read it because I've read it so many times, right? But I took it out and I'm just flipping through the thing, and I'm being real careful with it. I don't want to, bust the binding. And, I flipped through it a couple times. I held it. I smelled the thing. I kind of hugged it a little bit. And then I wrapped that damn thing up in a fucking silver fucking bag and a fucking bubble wrap. And I put it inside a Chip and High. And now both of my copies are safely wrapped inside bubble wrap inside a Gemini mailer right now, and they're safe and sound on my shelf. They're not moving. So
Yeah, and yeah, it's so gratifying to have the proof in hand and actually see the work product. And yeah, that's that's the other thing. I can't wait till I mean the binding on the book itself. Gat says I don't want to bust the binding. Well, we've got the proof copies here, but there ain't going to be any worries about the actual book. I just can't wait to have the finished, shiny product in my hands. Right?
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The proof copy isn't even the finished product. The UV spot UV is not even on the front of it. I think the printing itself is a little different. They say it's offset printing, so I think it's actually going to be a little nicer. That the print quality itself will be a little nicer when we actually get the books even. So I'm happy with the proof, so I can imagine what the actual finished product is going to look like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Being really familiar with the printing process, the difference between proofs and the final product, and I'm stoked on the proof copy. And I know the difference between the two, and I can't wait to get. I can't wait for everybody. Moreover, me and Gat can't wait, but I'm going to be when soon, brothers is what I'm saying.
Yep.
You're going to have it, and you will be pleased. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, let's take a second to hail the chat. Hail everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. I know there's a couple other streams going on, so it means a lot that you guys come and hang out with us. Nella Possessed, first one here. Hail Nella. Edgar Tarley, also here. Prick 13. Of course, got James Hayes dropping the links. Thank you very much. Blue Sea Hills hanging out with us. Let's see. We just had some more just rolled in here. We got, of course, Ryan Magus. What's up, brother? Edward Marlis. Simon Simpotiel. Hail the motherfucking Bradley.
Yeah, not that guy, but the other guys. Yeah.
Not that motherfucker.
Wait, why you don't like Simon now?
He needs to. He knows.
Oh, here we go.
Get my files in, Sam. Damn it.
Blue Sea Hill says it's best not to let the customers. It's best not to let the customers see how difficult it is. Never let them see you sweat.
It's less okay. So I guess I could explain that a little bit. It's the process itself. It's fun creating a book, like doing, actually being a creator. All that's fun, but there's so much tedious work in between that you're right. I mean, I don't know. Is it better? I mean, I think it's better, to be honest. I'd rather tell everyone the truth out there, because there's a lot of people who are kind of trying to think about doing their own books. And they have to realize that there's a lot of ins and outs that you don't think about. There's a lot of costs that you don't think about. You're not going to get rich making comic books like this. You're just not. People like EVS and Malin, guys like that, and Zach, I mean, they can make good money. They can, they're not hurting for money, but it's just harder for normal people to go out there and really, I don't know, be instantly famous and rich in this business. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
it's going to take years and years of hard work. Focusing on one thing at a time would be, your best bet. Don't plan too much ahead. And yeah, man, just realize it is hard work. I want people to realize that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And yeah, I don't mean to cut you off as you are the host, but just second what Gat's saying. It's we find ourselves in a curious position, kind of all of a sudden, in that I bring some publishing background to it. Gat's bringing amazing ideas to it that I could never dream up. But I mean, we're certainly like the purpose of this show. I mean, we want to push Jumpstart, and we want to sell the book, and we think that the consumers, the readers, the comics fans are going to be totally stoked on it. But at the same time, there's a lot of moving pieces, and there's not even room for everybody. But we want to make room for everybody going forward. So we also want to give the best advice we can to guys that are creating, that are actually putting these things together, as much as we're able. So it's I want this show to be for the readers, but if we can throw in a little bit to help some guys become creators that have readers, we want to do that too.
Here's the easiest thing you can do, and my best advice I can tell you for someone who wants to get in this and make their own book. Learn from other people's mistakes.
Yep.
don't put yourself through it. You don't have to learn the hard way, right? You need to learn from other people around you. You need to talk to these people, become friends and buddies with these people, grab an oar, like Balin says, along with everyone else. And then, I mean, you need to learn from other people's mistakes because, had I known now what I know about what goes down in this whole process when I launch, I would have been a lot better off. But I had to learn some things the hard way.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I mean, that's, we've got, I don't know how many different networking rooms on Twitter, and for that exact purpose, we don't want people launching their first campaign to be left in the dark. If there's anything that anybody can do to help, as far as just even the littlest piece of advice, we are more than happy to share. I haven't launched my own project, but I've soaked up like a sponge everything else that's been going on.
Yeah.
So I can give advice. I've not been through it firsthand, but I know almost every little nuance there is to the whole crowdfunding scenario, to setting up an IGD page, to finding a printer, to fulfillment, the whole 9 yards. And there's a lot of people out there the same way.
Yeah. It's really important to take it all in. And like Gat says, learn from other people's mistakes. And then, then again, it's one of those deals where we're, we're definitely consumers. We're definitely fans.
Yeah, just docks the ceiling.
I just docks my ceiling. Hell.
Easy. But yeah, it's, I mean, that's all, I've seen that ceiling before. It's all, yeah, I mean, to sum it up, Hell Prick 13, brother. I mean, I'm all about the people that come and hang out. Vault's making the transition. Prick 13 and some of the other people in the chat, they're coming at it from the standpoint of they just want good books and we want to provide them. And on the flip side of the coin, Sim's in the chat and Joe Ball's in the chat. And as an editor and somebody that's working on publishing, I can only say, get your files in, dudes.
This was like the entire show last
week.
week.
I would say this. Sorry about that. I would say this real quick. There's a big difference between the book and the magazine too. So there's two different sets of problems here that we kind of went through, didn't we, Steve? So, it is what it is. You have to learn from other people, though, if you can.
There's a real dichotomy. Sorry, Adam, again, but there's a real dichotomy between Gat's got these premium projects. Vestige is about to drop, and we're working. We'll talk more about Vestige 2 later, but that's Pale Mel, Bulletmaker with Joe Ball. That's ongoing. That'll be the next thing to drop. But those things are definitely a labor of love. And then Jumpstart, as a magazine, there's a lot more moving pieces. So it's definitely two different things.
Well, yeah, you're basically you're orchestrating an orchestra of creators at this point. Trying to get everybody to get their deadlines, get their print files in.
Yeah, Joe. Yes, son.
So yeah, I mean, this is just when you guys announced that you guys were doing this CG Jumpstart project, I knew in my mind, I was like, this is a huge task. This is not like some little 24-page floppy book that these guys are trying to put together. I mean, they are swinging. You guys are swinging for the fences here.
Yep. Well, there was no sense in doing it if we weren't going to go big and do it right. It was smaller originally, and then we kind of talked about, well, if we want to make this thing as much like Wizard as possible, we have to include editorial, tutorials, top 10 list, all these things that was really cool about Wizard magazine back in the day. So we it ended up being a big book then, 120 pages. You're going to get what is it, 90 pages of art, Steve? I think it breaks down to?
Right at yep.
So we got 30 pages of editorial, and we kept it to a minimum because Steve basically had to, talk me into that part because I wanted to make I just wanted to make it about comics. I was thinking more Shonen Jump. So, ongoing serials, ongoing series. And I don't know. I thought that's the way we were going to go originally with the project. And then, I heard Huerta kind of discussed it in DMs and then saying, and this was before I had actually decided to do it and had pitched it to Ro. And it was Huerta saying, well, I missed this about Wizard and I missed that, and maybe we should do it digitally. We should do a YouTube show that's kind of like an online Wizard. I'm like, dude, why can't we print it again? Why can't we go back to having a cool magazine for people to read? Why does that have to die? It doesn't make any sense. We're here at ComicsGate. People are here to buy printed work,
Mm-hmm.
They want a collector's item. They want something cool they can keep and have. It's because they enjoy that. That's what they miss about comic books. They like buying them. They don't want to buy digital shit. Some of them do. Sure, they'll buy a digital something if they don't have the cash. But for most people in this market, they want a fucking premium quality book they can hold, And then another one, they want one they can read, and they want one they can put up. Most of these people do. So
yeah. Well, I mean, Gat's clearly a devotee of the Shonen Jump thing, whereas I'm much more a child of Wizard, But I think we've got a nice mashup going. But yeah, I mean, whenever you want to get around to sharing the screen, they've got the TOC up to just like show the depth of the project. There's a lot of stuff going on. That might be a good way to kind of run down what all's in there.
Ooh, this is spoilers.
Yeah,
This is your first
major
look at
spoilers.
actual Jumpstart.
Yeah, spoilers. Yeah, I had to be dragged. I was kicking and screaming, being dragged to this point. But we'll show some stuff.
So yeah, we're looking at the table of contents right here, and I mean, just this in itself, I think, just looks awesome. I mean, the way you guys designed this and set everything up, the names of every section. Tell us a little bit about that, Steve.
Well, I mean, it's Gat's idea. Let's do a magazine, and he wants to do Shonen Jump, and I want to do Wizard, and then we fight over that for I don't know, a month or two. What do you think, Gat? And then we arrive at how we're going to mash it up. That it's going to be primarily sequential art, but that there will be some editorial content, and then we flesh out and argue out the name. Well, Jumpstart, because we want to give the entire, ComicsGate. It's not that it needs a jumpstart, but we do want to be the engine to propel this thing forward in as much as we are able, as much as we are capable. So that's, I'm a bit of a gearhead, but the play on words involved that we've got a starter pack. That's your little jumpstart thing that you carry around in case your battery goes dead, which is our kind of like our bits and pieces in our fun little section to open it up. But beyond that, if we want to be the engine to drive ComicsGate forward, and we very much want to be at least one of those engines, then it becomes, well, how does an engine work? Well, there's 4 stages. The four-stroke engine is literally intake, compression, ignition, and exhaust.
I gotta kill my cat. Hold on, I gotta mute myself.
Yeah, kill the cat. I'll hold forth on how motors work. You've got intake, you've got compression, you've got ignition and exhaust. That's what gets your car or your truck down the highway. And that's what we want to do with Jumpstart. We want to keep this thing rolling down the road. So that's pretty much where it comes from, Adam, is, we want CG Jumpstart to be, not the engine, but one of the primary engines to show what we're doing and show what other people are doing and showing how much talent there is in ComicsGate. So that's, that and trying to be clever. I didn't want to call it departments and features. I wanted to.
Yeah, it said you got to set it apart a little bit from just your traditional, magazine. But yeah, I like the whole analogy. CG Jumpstart it's the car. It's the vehicle in which we are driving down the road in. All of ComicsGate, the best of the best.
Somebody once said, and I'm not even going to, I'm going to go with the full F word, not doing the, it's ComicsGate. Get the fuck in or fuck the fuck off. So, yeah.
Hail to that.
Yeah.
Here we got Zeca Comics is in the chat. He says, "Damn, Steve, this looks great."
Yeah, thank you, Phil. And yeah, Zeca Brothers actually have got, if you look right about here, crossing the borders on page 112. Yeah, really, really nice tutorial from from Zaid on how to, on panel breakdowns and how to lay out a page. Well, we're fortunate enough to be blessed by Caesar so that we have an original page from Cyberfrog that Philip keys off of, and then he also shows a page from their great work, Magic Cop, and his brother Brandon did the illustration that kind of, it's in the title logo, and it's a really nice piece. So, hell, Philip, hell, Brandon, you guys are a big help in getting this thing rolling in the magazine and for the whole deal.
Yeah, they're ones to watch out for. Zaid Comics is going to be an imprint, I think, that's going to have a very lasting effect on ComicsGate with the ideas that they've got in store for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing, Adam. It's like not only those guys, like, yeah, I mean, Diaz brothers are fucking awesome, but like, this is what we don't want to do with Jumpstart. We want to gather all these guys that I think are the top notch, the best guys in ComicsGate. And people can say what they want, but this is what I want for the magazine. You know, it has to be the fucking best shit for it to go in there. You know, we want to showcase the premium guys, and this is what we have in this book. We have so many guys in here that, I mean, their shit is just so it's quality. And when you see it all in one place, and you flip through this fucking thing, you're gonna be like, holy shit, ComicsGate is incredible. It really is better than Marvel and DC. This is going to prove. Here's what I'm going to tell you right now to everyone. I mean, I don't know how many people you got in there, but I'm
about
telling
31
you right
people
now,
watching.
31 people. This shit right here is going to prove that what we're doing in ComicsGate is better than what $1 million fucking corporations can do. It isn't about the fucking money. It's about the talent and the fucking will to do it. You know that? And this is what we're going to prove with this book. And the fucking Marvel and DC, if they see this shit, they should be fucking afraid. They should be deathly afraid of ComicsGate.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Oh yeah. That is one thing. I think that the mainstream, after this gets into people's hands and people see, what CG has to offer, and this is just a taste, I mean, I remember, Steve, you were saying that you were eventually beating people away with a stick because 120 pages fills up quick.
Yeah.
And that's already pretty fucking thick.
Yeah, it's a task to make all these pieces fit together in a cohesive puzzle, but that was one of the biggest tasks, was really, I mean, we were chock full. We can run through this TOC and talk about who all was involved in this, but one of the biggest tasks was to tell people, I really want to make room for you in the second issue, Jumpstart, or in the third, or what have you. But yeah, man, I mean, we've got this thing crammed packed.
Sketch Therapy has a pretty a question in the chat. He asks, Hail Brother, he says, will you add pages as stretch goals, articles, and previews and stuff?
No. It's 120 pages sketch. The print run on this thing is going to cost a pretty penny, brother.
I think that was a great chorus.
Yeah,
no, both of you at the same time, just like no.
No, I mean, it's just business-wise, it doesn't make no sense. You know what I mean? We can't lose money on a project. You know what I mean? And the guys involved still need paid. So no, Sketch, I can't, because you start adding more pages to this thing and our print run goes 10, 11K. It's like, holy fuck, brother.
I'll tie that back in. I'll tie that back into the creator consumer model. We literally are taking vestige money. What we I could have went out for a nice steak dinner. Instead, I'm pouring it right back in to Jumpstart, because we want to succeed, but we want to see everybody succeed. So that's, it's vestige that's bankrolling this thing, and that's where the money's going. And a stretch goal, Sketch, anybody who's listening, anybody who watches this back, the stretch goal is that if the consumers show support for what we're trying to do, and they fund this thing accordingly, the stretch goal is that it grows. Now, this one will not grow. The next one will be 120 pages. But if we find the support that we hope that is out there, then that's the overall stretch goal, is to expand this thing, make it bigger and bigger. It's like a buddy of mine used to say, it's not a party unless everybody's invited. We want to make room for all these guys.
I mean, think about this Sketch for a second, brother. I got, I'll level with you. this is an experiment. We don't know, no one's ever tried to make a magazine and fund it through ComicsGate. This has never happened before, so we don't know what's going to happen, brother.
Yeah.
We have a business model that we think will work. It enables us to pay guys money what their artwork is worth, and to put money into a lot of creators' hands, right? And if it works, we want to continue doing that. And yes, like depending on what type of support we get for this, we will definitely in the future, we want to include as many people in ComicsGate as we can. If that means expanding pages in the book, if we have the funding to do that, we will most certainly do that. But we have to make this business model work first. You see what I'm saying? It's just not proper business otherwise, brother. We don't know what's going to happen.
That's the immediate stretch goal, is to make this work. And then if we make this work, then it expands, and there's more room for we'll have a bigger party.
He did come back and he said, I thought it was less pages. 120 is plenty. I just got here, was on teaser stream and saw y'all live. Well, welcome, brother.
Good, brother. Yeah, no, but I just figured you knew.
It's a good question though. For anybody who hasn't seen any of who hasn't seen any of the episodes or hasn't, any newcomers that don't even really know what Jumpstart is. This is actually a great episode to get in on because we're showing some awesome stuff here.
Anyone who wants a question answered, please ask, because that's what we're here for. Yeah.
Totally solid question. But that's the bottom line is the stretch goal is to succeed with this and to grow. That's the stretch goal.
We have another question from Rotten Glory. He asks, what are you shooting for in terms of a release schedule?
Shortly after fulfillment of Vestige. Vestige, like I said, it's going to take another 10 days or whatever after we order the books. I don't know if Ro did that today or if he's doing it tomorrow, but I mean, these things are coming within the next 10 to 14 days, and then I will start sending those out. And then I don't suspect it'll take me more than 2 weeks to fulfill. I'm going to bust my ass to fulfill within 2 weeks. So, I mean, we're looking at, I guess, end of March.
Yeah, I hope we're launching this in March. I mean, I'm actually, I didn't take a screen grab of this. This is InDesign files of the work in progress, and this thing's going to be in the can any day now. I'm looking at you, Sim. I'm looking at you, Joe. But other than that, this thing is, it's complete. And your first project is always going to be fraught with peril and struggles and so forth. But we brought Vestige to the finish line, and this book is 95% laid out, complete on the page, all 120 pages. I'm saying that 105 pages. Wait a minute, Joe, Sim. 98 pages are, it's going to be in the can, and we're going to turn it around quick. We're going to hopefully launch this campaign in March, and then we're going to be getting in people's hands shortly thereafter.
Sketch wants to know, what about a hot tub row stretch goal? He did look good in that vest and bow tie.
It's gonna be hard to get the Gaylord back in the tub, brother. I'm gonna level with you again. He's not filling the bathtub or hot tub, I don't think, right now.
In a row. Sometimes you need him to get out of the bathtub, but he won't. Other times you need him to get in. He's a contrarian. That's how he is.
True.
Oh, and here's something good that we can expand upon a little bit too. Do you have a website yet? A magazine really needs a traditional site, and by release schedule, I mean how often will it come out? Is this 4 times a year or something?
That's another question that we can't answer until we really know the funding, and this also depends on my schedule too. I mean, I have my own books that I'm doing as well, right? So a lot of this stuff. So here's my plan. I'll tell you my schedule if that helps. We're looking at Jumpstart March, probably. We're looking at Bulletmaker.
Hey.
No, more like June or July.
Oh, come on, dude.
It'd probably be closer to June.
Okay, June. We can compromise.
And then, I mean, we're looking at here. I guess I'll go ahead and announce it now. I think we're looking at, I mean, we might as well. I mean, I'm already talking about it.
Spoilers. Get ready, everybody. Clench your back holes.
We're looking at Vestige 2 this October. So, And that means completed. We'll have everything completed, ready to go. There's going to be no more wait for any of my stuff. We're going to basically have proofs in hand before we launch campaigns now.
Yeah.
So
we learned a lot of lessons with Vestige 1. I think that in the grand scheme of things, we're not real late, but we're a little late. We're not going to let that happen again. Vestige 2 is it's got to get drawn, but then back to the project at hand again with JUMPSTART. It's we're going to do it as often as the consumers will support it. The idea would be to do it quarterly, but we need to have people come out and back it and help us do that and help us grow ComicsGate by allowing us to continue, and we'll see.
I will say this, Steve, and this is the easiest way to explain it. While I'm doing my other projects, and we get the support of everyone of ComicsGate on JUMPSTART, we will be putting together a second JUMPSTART while all this other stuff's going on. So, like I said, all these things that we do are going to be done in the bag when we're ready to launch. It's going to be no more wait. It's the easiest way to kind of set real schedule that way. Once we get on, get some work done, that's how you really can set a schedule. There's no more just we're waiting on this guy to get done or we're waiting for this. We need this colored. Nah, man. I really want proofs in hand for all of my shit that I do before I launch now. So I will know my schedule next year. I'll be able to tell you a real schedule for JUMPSTART because we'll know,
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's like we're going to get the support on the first one. I've already got my other two projects going, the two books that I'm doing this year, which is Bulletmaker, Vestige 2. And then, once that happens and we get funding for the original JUMPSTART, we'll start putting together the second one, once we fulfilled it. So that's the plan.
Yeah. Yeah, in a certain way, I'm already putting together the second one. But, how often it comes out is entirely dependent on the people's, the reception of the consumer, and will they support it,
And also, I forgot to answer the other question. The website, CG Only is still coming. So that's the website that the magazine will be tied to. There's going to be a lot more stuff tied to that website as well. It's thinking to be an actual hub for all of ComicsGate. There are going to be forums. There's a lot of cool stuff we got coming with CG Only. It's still coming. There's certain shit that took priority. There's other things that's going on that I don't care to elaborate on. But it's coming, man. We're doing it. I'll tell you what, I've seen it, the basics of it work. I've seen it working already. So, at this point, we basically got to, pretty it up, work out the kinks. There's a couple of little things that, I'm sure still need code written for, so it's not complete. But, we're getting there, brothers. We're doing a lot of shit at once. You know that?
Yeah, you guys are multitasking machines. I don't think people don't. It's one of those things that people don't really realize how much goes on in the background. You guys, you do obviously, Gat, you do the show twice a week, and you're writing and working on this magazine, and then all the other stuff that's like I said, that goes on that people don't realize and think about. War Campaign is much more than just dildo memes. I will tell you that.
Yeah, it's a separate.
It's a second full-time job, man. It really is.
Yeah. The dildo memes are a different division. Over here behind the scenes, we're working on this shit on the daily. A lot of hours. I need a nap, frankly, but I'm here. Let's do this shit.
You got to just ride that adrenaline.
Yeah.
Steve, I'll take this off and let you readjust your screen here. We had another question, though, in the chats. Kind of a good segue, I think, here from Lucy Hill. Says, what story are y'all most excited for people to see from JUMPSTART?
Ooh, damn.
That's like asking how you going to pick your favorite kid. I can't do it.
Yeah. Since I can't say my own, because I would sound like an ass, I'll say probably what the Zeca Brothers are doing, because this is when they came to us, they were like, "Man, we got this cool, this cool new idea we're working on." I'm like, "Okay, well, let's see it," because I like Magic Cop. I really like Magic Cop idea. I love it, I love the whole feel, the artwork, the style, the color, everything about Magic Cop I love. But the thing they presented to us was so much different. And I was like, "Holy fuck, what is this?" Right? And the first thing he showed me, I don't know if he's actually even talked about it, so I won't say it. But we didn't end up going with that. We ended up going with the second thing he showed me, and it's the silhouette. I think you guys have talked about that, correct?
Yeah. We had both the Zeca Brothers on to talk about it.
Yeah, I think I was actually in chat that night.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know how cool that looks. It's very Frank Miller. I mean, it's Sin City, fucking dude. I mean, that's what I'm excited for. That right there, silhouette.
There you go.
Yeah. Again, I can't pick my favorite kid, but that's it's months before Sage showed us that idea. There was a project that kind of went in a different direction. We were talking very much about doing the black on, or the white on black thing, and kind of that Sin City feel to it and that vibe, and doing some spot color and stuff. And Philip and Brandon brought us two different things, and they were both really good. But the one that stood out to Gat and myself, and I, maybe a few echoes of what we've been talking about, but the Lost Pages it's pretty primo, man. It really is. But we've got so much stuff. I mean, we've got Runes of Adirian that Gat is doing with Pat Maxon, aka that degenerate Doodlebags, and
the master D bag.
Yeah. But at the same time, Doodle's got two other pieces: his own Frog Saga, and then Gigadeath that he's doing with a team, and all of those things are really, really strong. And
actually, if I had to say a second thing, it would be Death, Death, Death by Joe Ball, because holy fuck.
That's what I was gonna say.
Holy fuck, yeah. I'm bullshitting. I mean, no, not throwing any shade at Silhouette, because I still feel the same. It's fucking amazing. But holy fuck, Death, Death, Death. Yeah, man. That's the fucking burner. That's the burner.
That's another case in point. We're up to our necks in Bulletmaker with Joe Ball.
Yeah.
And yet what Joe Ball's bringing with Death, 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 it's you got to be just as excited for something that is all Joe's as something that we're working on, concurrently. So
I also know the story, and I know a lot of the background of what he's doing with Death, Death, Death too. So I mean, I'm biased probably because I know a little more than I can let on, right? So but I would say those two, Silhouette, Death, Death, Death. I mean, there's Rob Willis's stuff with Fowler. I mean, that shit looks, what's it, Red Battle Giant, right?
Red Giant Battle.
What? Yeah, I'm high. Whatever. Sorry, Fowler. But I mean, that shit looks cool. I mean, fuck, Rob Willis art, and Fowler's another guy you need to keep watch for. He always has these great ideas. So, I mean,
that man's a machine too. He's I think he's trying to usurp your title, Wizard.
Nah, good luck, Fowler. But I mean, the dude's fucking amazing. He's amazingly talented, dude. There's a handful of writers out here that are really the cream of the crop in ComicsGate, and to be honest, to me, they stand out. Maybe it's only to other writers, but there are certain writers who I like in ComicsGate, and I'm probably a little biased and partial to those dudes. You know that? But it is what it is.
I mean, like we talked a little bit about it last week. I mean, the writers really need to step it up and put some quality content out there to match what these artists that we have can do. We've got Joe Ball out there. We've got, I mean, Pat, Peter, all these guys. They're just phenomenal artists, and we have to be able to give them stories that are going to match that art. So as writers, you cannot pull any punches. You've got to swing for the fences and knock it out every time. No half-assing anything. And
actually, now that you said that, Jumpstart is going to do a little something for the writers, right? Because not only do we have the great artists in there, it's really going to showcase the best stories too. It's not going to be all about the art. You'll see that the quality of the story in each of these projects is top notch as well. So it's going to be a showcase for writers as well, not just artists.
Yeah, and that's definitely the right way to go about it. Because I mean, we in CG we praise the '90s so much, but in actuality, a lot of the storytelling in the '90s was very subpar. The art was off the hook, but a lot of the stories are like,
Yeah.
So we need to take the artistic elements of the '90s, and I feel like combine them with what we were getting actually in the '80s. The actual the good stories, the actual content of it.
Yeah, exactly, brother. Good storytelling, maybe a hint of continuity here and there that doesn't get thrown out with the baby in the bathwater.
Continuity is a good word, Steve. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a big continuity freak. I always have been. I was one of the reasons I loved DC so much growing up was because their massive continuity until they decided to drop an atomic bomb on it in 2011.
And you look what's happening right now as a result of that. I think most of us that grew up as comics fans and somehow maintain a connection to being a kid through our love of comics, we appreciate continuity. And whether it's DC or whether it's Marvel, just like throwing it out the window and like let's renumber and let's revamp and let's reinvent. Why would you reinvent story archetypes that have lasted for decades, characters that have got backstory for decades? Why would you throw all that out just to start again to attract new readers?
Those readers aren't there. I'll play devil's advocate though, and you know that I was going to do this, Steve. You should have figured this. Here's what I also say, because you brought up the fact that we need to go back to kind of like the old school style of storytelling from the 80s and 70s. The better stories, and I agree they were better then, but I think we need to go beyond that. We need to combine it with the kind of Eastern philosophies that people read nowadays. The kids want to read all the manga. Well, there's a reason why kids read manga. It's not just the art. It's the story. They've captured a new way of telling stories that if we can combine it with the traditional kind of 80s comic book style with with people like Liam, like he does it, I think. People like Michael Derrick, people like Fowler, people like myself. We have a lot of these kind of Eastern influences from anime and manga. And I feel like that's where the next crop of great writers are going to come from. They're going to combine the old school kind of traditional good shit we grew up with the new kind of invention, the innovative style that they do in Japan. That's how you win in a new age. You have to kind of evolve into something different. I think there's a handful of guys out there who understand that, and they've done it. And those are the guys who I want to put in JUMPSTART as far as writers go. So I might be biased, but you know what? This is my magazine. Hell.
No, I think that's a great point, because we've got to try to find that new audience, that to broaden that audience, and that's the way to do it. It's not by just regurgitating what came before. It's trying to blaze that new path, and like you said, get the kids back into it. I mean, fuck. Kids don't read comic books anymore because comic books that you buy in the stores are trash. But they do pick up manga because they're can relate to the story, and they're good.
It's good. It's actually good, Like people, I mean, how many times have you heard in ComicsGate from people who read, have bought hundreds and thousands of dollars on comics, But they're like, hey, I love Berserk. And they still and there's even artists out there, they're like, I love Berserk. And it's like, it's because it's unquestionably better than anything else that's out there. You know what I mean? It just stands above everything that's been printed lately. So, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I set you up for that, guy. You know that. I was like, here's your soapbox, bro. But, I totally agree with everything that Gat's saying. I also, obviously, totally agree with everything I'm saying. And I would, Sketch just said in the chat that manga stories are 30% fights and 70% character perseverance. Eastern storytelling and Western storytelling definitely comes from a different perspective. And yet the story archetype that is common between the two is that thing about perseverance and, fighting the odds. And that's the kind of storytelling that we need to bring back to comics.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we've done it with JUMPSTART. That's what I'm telling you. Like, everyone gets it. You know, we're not going to put any bullshit out there. And we've collected the best, like the best of the best is going into Jumpstart.
So yeah, do you want to, Steve? You had a page pulled up, and
I can click it. I can clicky.
All right.
Yeah, I can do that.
So yeah, let's look at a little bit here from. This is one of Gat's stories with Mr. Peter Gilmore. I'm sure you all have heard of Peter Gilmore by now.
Todger?
The Todger.
Todger King.
We have I think we have a troll in the chat. Roro Kumar. Vestiges, a gay book by gay dudes.
Hail, brother.
Hail.
Hail, brother. Yeah, welcome, brother.
Best gay dudes making the best gay book. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, hail, brother. Appreciate it.
So anyway, let's tell us about this. Is Elysian Minds.
Elysian Minds, yeah.
Elysian.
Okay. So yeah, this is my horror book with Peter Gilmore. I think we went through it a little bit. I didn't really get to talk about really the kind of the avatars and the nightmare creatures will be in the book. I figured, I can do a quick recount of what we already know, which is basically this is a horrible science experiment that's gone wrong. This evil corporation has been experimenting on some innocent children off the coast of the United States in a place called Plum Island. People who understand what Plum Island is, they know it has some historical significance. So anyway, there's a horrible experiment that scientists are doing to these kids, and they're basically trying to unlock parts of the brain that we don't use in daily life. They say you only really use 10% of your brain power. Well, these scientists are essentially trying to unlock the rest of the brain, the ability for a normal human to use it, essentially becoming super smart, superhuman. Something goes wrong, and what they actually unlock is the ability for people to contact this other world. It's like an alternate dimension where these dreams and these nightmare creatures dwell. And so what happens is, once they've experimented on these kids and the serum works, then it's basically like a beacon to these creatures. They're drawn from this other dimension into the natural world, to the human world, and they attach themselves to one of these carriers, right? Supposedly these people who are kind of sitting out in the signal, their brain has been unlocked. And so now these creatures are drawn to it. Now the first creature that arrives is the creature that attaches itself. It's essentially like a host, using the human as a host and living off of it. Now, so in some cases these creatures are good. In other cases these creatures are nightmares. And we're going to see a lot of cast of characters in this, from different cultures, my fucking cats won't shut up. God damn it.
You can only barely hear it if that makes you feel any better.
No, it's fucking annoying because I'm like fucking, you know what I mean? So, anyway, these fucking creatures attach themselves to one of these kids who have this part of their brain unlocked, right? And what we're seeing in this book is essentially test subject number 3 is the first character, or the first human that one of these creatures has attached itself to it successfulely. And we're going to see kind of what happens in the first chapter when these creatures come to life. And there's Steve sneezing. That doesn't help either. Holy shit.
Sorry, brother. I muted my mic. I can't share the screen and mute on StreamYards at the same time. Fuck. I muted the mic. I don't know. It says red, and you can clearly hear me. So what the fuck?
Okay.
Live radio, everybody.
Anyway, where was I? I'm rolling blunts. I'm mid-rolling blunts, too. So.
Fucking cold out in the fucking Midwest. I gotta blow my nose. Fuck you guys. All right, I'm done. I'm done. Dude, I mean, what are you gonna do?
This is
fucking
boomer.
wintertime. It's wintertime. What are you gonna fucking do? It's February. Adam knows. You know too, fucker. It's not like you live in the fucking Sun Belt. Give me a break.
All right, so essentially, we're going to see in this first chapter what happens when one of these creatures attaches to its first human host, and it's not good. So what we're seeing here is one of the pages. It's basically starting off with it's an Abenaki creation myth, where it's telling kind of the way the land was formed by this great turtle spirit, right? And it's kind of an odd way to start a horror book, but once you guys read it, you'll understand my meaning. It really ties into the fact that, you know, this creation myth is surrounded by a god who, you know, he dreams things into existence. And in fact, that's what these kids are doing. They're dreaming these nightmare creatures into existence, into the modern world. So
That's fucking crazy.
yeah.
I got
Well,
the chat. The chat's fucking. I had to mute my mic because I'm fucking dying laughing here. Mayfield Dukes says, "Can you contract coronavirus over the interwebs?" No, thank God.
Yeah, you might get a Coors Light virus off of me right now, but you know, I'm sadly bereft of Cerveza. You know, I prefer the Pacifico virus over the coronavirus. You know, just for the record.
So, what kind of what creatures of myth are we going to see in this?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's
Spoilers.
some interesting things that I've pulled out, and yeah, this is absolute spoilers, but I mean, these things are going to happen down the road in CG Jumpstart, right? I actually, you know, other than one other story with this, I don't have anything set in stone yet. So this is some of the ideas that I've been kind of floating around for stories later on in Elysian Minds. So some of the things that are evil. So in this book, they're called frighteners or phobiters. It's Greek for frightener, a phobiter, right? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I assume I am.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
And those are the nightmare creatures in this book, right? They're called frighteners, essentially. The good creatures that we'll come to find out also in this book that attach themselves to these kids are called divines. So, you know, depending on which type of creature is drawn to you, you know, it's essentially what kind of result you're going to get. You know, if there's an evil creature that's drawn to one of these kids, it's basically going to turn them evil. You know, while the good creatures essentially makes them become a hero. You know, in most cases, they want to do the right thing. Although, you know, you never know. Maybe we can find out later on that's not the case always. Spoilers.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of these creatures, for instance, what you're going to see in this book is one of the creatures is of Greek origins called Ichthys, right? And it's known as the beast, the serpent, and the crow. It's kind of like this nightmare creature that takes on these different shapes depending on which human it's talking to and depending on what mood it's in. So this is one of the creatures we'll be introducing in the first chapter of Elysian Minds. His name's Ichthys. And so, like I said, he takes on 3 different forms, a beast, some type of snake or serpent, and some type of bird form. So we'll be actually seeing all 3 introduced in the first chapter.
Yep. Dude, I just want to spill it, but spoilers. No, can't do it.
Zaid in the chat, he says, coming from the god of nightmare Phobos, getting excited about this. I love myths.
Yep. And yeah, so I'm basically going to take nightmare creatures, dream creatures, and nightmare creatures associated with dreams from all over the cultures of the world, man. So, like I said, I have Ichthys from Greek origin. There's a Hindu god of bad luck and the king of meteors. It's called Rahu, and I think that's a really cool character as well. It's just some of the illustrations I've seen of the guy, you know. It's fucking really cool character design for stuff like that. There's another thing called a Kikumora, right? It's Slavic origin. It's kind of like this evil goblin-looking creature that can paralyze you, right? And all these things are associated with nightmares, and they come from all different cultures around the world. So I'm going to include all these type of things in this project. I think in the end. What's another cool one?
Why are you trying to make me learn shit in my comic books, man?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I like to take actual shit and kind of put my twist on it, right? I like to take my twist. You put my twist on history. For instance, Vestige. You're going to see a lot of that. That's basically what I'm doing. I've got, in this book, I like to go, take from different cultures. So, there's a lot of these things that people haven't heard of before. So.
Collaborating with Gat is all about, it's 11 o'clock at night. Let's have a 30-minute call to discuss this specific element of the story that we're working on. And the next thing you know, it's 3:30 in the morning. And deep down the wormhole of research. That's how it works.
So some of the good creatures, for instance, there's a thing called an obsidian butterfly. It's from Aztec mythology. It's a beautiful woman, or you can actually transform into what is referred to as a knife wing-tipped butterfly, obsidian black. This is another one that I don't care.
It's spoiler as fuck right now, Gat.
Spoiler if I haven't written it, fucker. No, it isn't.
All right. Whatever,
no, it's not. No, it's not. I don't even have to, dude. I have fucking 6 pages of this shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing a real behind-the-scenes look at a Steve and
Steve
Gat's
don't know what
conversation.
The spoiler is his problem because he can't spoil something that ain't written. You know that?
I call it spoilers.
No.
Yonafui's in the chat. He says, "Is this the Meg?" No, brother, that's a turtle.
No, brother. This is a real comic book, brother.
Yeah, this is no shark book, brother. Hell, Yonafui, but this is no shark book, brother.
Roro says, "Adam, take your shirt off." I don't even have my camera on. Anyway, continuing on. Sorry, we got all kinds of off track there.
Steve. It ain't a spoiler.
Welcome to Writing with Gat 101.
No, it ain't. Once again, it's not even writing. I'm sitting here spitballing shit. You know that? It's not written. So therefore, no spoiler. It's written in my damn notebook. That don't count for shit.
That's my point, pretty much.
Good luck. Motherfucker want to steal my ideas. Good luck. That's what I tell you.
Yeah, you're never going to get there. Yeah, if you want to fucking, yeah. I'm mostly, spoilers is my shtick, but good luck matching Gats.
That's what I'm not worried about it, Steve. I'm not worried about no one stealing, something that's been written for a year when I've got 27 other fucking projects, brother. You know that? Come on.
There ain't nobody going to out-Gat Gat. I know that. But that's my shtick, bro. Spoilers. That's my joke.
But essentially, this book is going to be a battle between good and evil. These nightmare creatures are going to attach themselves to kids. The kids are eventually going to grow up, and these creatures lend their powers to the human that it attaches itself to as a host. So these kids develop, supernatural abilities, superpowers, depending on which kind of creature ties itself to them. Some are more powerful than others, of course. But yeah. It's a really cool thing. Like this, I think this is the project I've worked the least on. I think. Well, it and Ruins of Adirion probably tied.
I don't know, dude. Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, if for me telling you that, I mean, I got pages and shit. I've got like at least 2 stories written of this. So, I mean,
well, since Gat's already spoiled it, I'm telling you, not many people are scared of butterflies. But if they had razor sharp wings, that'd be a whole different fucking deal, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, she's also good too. It's one of the divine, Steve. It's not an evil creature, so I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's to fuck you up, man.
It's not. That's not intended as horror. That's, you know what I mean. That's the good side of it. But yeah,
scares me.
No, a big titty woman with butterfly woman. No.
Well, when you put it like that.
So what do we? This is 12 pages in the magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
12 pages.
Yeah, ongoing serial, the Magistry of Gat, the Magistry of
Peter
Gilmore. Yeah. And
I'll just say this real quick about Peter. I mean, like, I couldn't be happier, like, with how this turned out. Some of his ideas, I came to him with you know, a pretty, I mean, not a total full script, but a pretty set script. And the ideas that he added to this and the changes he made were absolutely phenomenal. And he did nothing but make this better. So, hell, Peter, he did great on this.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm going to elaborate quickly on the hail to Peter. Yeah, I mean, he's a one-stop shop. His artwork's phenomenal. He did his own coloring, he did his own lettering. It's phenomenal. I haven't managed to find, I'm too busy with Jumpstart to be on the twatters, but I did get my Toad book today, and my favorite part of it was definitely, I mean, it's all really good, but Peter's an amazing talent and a pleasure to work with, and a Todger.
Yeah, I got my my email notification saying that it was it's coming to me. It's on its way. I can't wait to get the Littlest Umbrella Girl. He's got the
you better be careful with that. The coronavirus, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I went and bought a can of Lysol today, actually. I'm going to Lysol the fuck out of it before I open it up.
Son of a bitch. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, no wonder Steve's sick.
I read it cover to cover this morning, and now I'm sick.
Oh, fuck. You really do have it. Jesus, Steve.
We better get this shit done, Gat, because I might be dying.
CG funeral.
Son of a bitch.
Don't worry, Steve. I am fully prepared to take over anything that you have started.
There you go.
Well,
Adam's on the job.
Yeah, with my blessing. And fuck it. If I die, I die.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm super excited about this project. It's fucking phenomenal. Like I said, Peter Gilmore's awesome. I want to keep doing this forever if I can. Eventually, maybe we'll turn it into an actual book. We'll compile the work we've done. But I'm really just planning on writing it chapter by chapter right now, seeing what happens.
Yeah. Long-term plan, if Jumpstart is well supported, hell, brother, please support Jumpstart. This will be an ongoing in Jumpstart, and then at some point we will collect it as its own campaign so that people can have it in a nice, shiny, perfect bound book of its own.
Yep. Hell.
Prick 13 says, "Don't die, Steve." Vault says, "Don't die, Steve." Roro Rapé Goblin says, "Die, Steve."
Hey,
I wonder who that is.
Yeah, if I die, I die.
It makes me wonder who that Roro Rapé Goblin is. You know that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
He's awfully gay. It's almost like a drunk Ro.
Yeah.
Hell. I like Roro Rapé Goblin. Hail, brother. Buy Vestige.
Yes, back Vestige. Link is in the description. I've got a really good joke, but it would be I can't use it. But yeah, if I die, I die. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, you will.
Well, yeah.
So I'll say if you want to do a quick recap, let's roll through all my shit real quick. I'll give you the 5 synopsis. You know that?
Yeah. What else you got for us, Steve? What's your next tab?
Well, I was
we got some Crash Course with Sims, so show a little bit of that. Fuck it.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna. Okay. Son of a gun.
So Crash Course with Simon Portier. I'll just get started.
Yeah, you get started, and I'll pull it
up. So essentially, this is something that me and Simon created together. I'm not.
Unshare for a minute.
You're unshared. You're in the clear.
All right, right on.
Damn it, Steve.
Okay, cool.
So this is me and Simon created together. I don't have full. I'm not the full writer on this. Simon wrote. He gets half the credit for that. First of all, let's make that clear. Simon did a wonderful job on Crash Course. We went back and forth on whether or not we were going to do color. I love Simon's black and white so much that in the end, it's like, no, let's do it in black and white. Once again, this is a project that will be an ongoing series in Crash and Jumpstart. And yeah, I mean, this is it's another book that eventually could be compiled into its own. I know me and Sam had talked about it, and that's essentially what the plans to this. This is basically going to be turned into a book. We're going to see the first couple 4 chapters in Jumpstart, and then we're going to add another 14, 24 pages on top of that and kind of wrap up the story. And eventually it's going to be a book. And now I don't know when that's going to happen. It'll be a year or 2 from now, something like that. But yeah, Crash Course eventually will be like the thing with Peter, and we'll release I don't know, some floppies, or maybe we'll make a nice book. I don't know. We haven't really decided yet, but I think we're going to do it eventually. So, but Crash Course is great. It's a futuristic race for freedom, basically. You can imagine, take Blade Runner, take Speed Racer, take Redline anime, mix them all up, and this is Crash Course, man. It's fucking great.
If you want to show me, Adam, we do have one nod to what this will look like in color. I hate to give away the spoiler of our great super fan art page with Igor Bondor, but it can't be fucked. Do it a different way.
That's cool. You can show that too.
Yeah. So if you want to show that,
more JUMPSTART spoilers. Here you go, folks.
Yeah. So there's that, and that's
that looks great. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the sort of an interior cover to our ongoing anthologies, and that portion of the book. That's the cover. And then after that, it jumps quickly into the story, and these colors will not appear in this form. Still waiting on the final lettered pages, which is mostly down to me and Gat. It's certainly not down to 3D Robin, who's been invaluable in helping me design this magazine, but is also lettering this particular thing. But this is a fun story, and I'm, as some people might know, I'm a total gearhead, so I'm pretty invested in this. We've got crazy ass racers basically running each other off the curves here, there, and everywhere. And then there's some backstory that will appear on CG only, and then eventually we'll get this all collected into a really nice book.
And what a great, so like this is we kind of gave a little spoiler away. This is running right into the books. The magazine opens and boom, you got Crash Course, right?
Yep.
Yep. 12 pages of Crash Course, the first chapter in Crash Course, followed by 12-page ongoing anthologies. We just got off of what Gat is doing with Peter. Gat's doing this with Sim. It really looks great. And then we've got that's how Joe Ball is doing Death. And it's a way to get this work into the people's hands and give them a preview of what the completed work will look like when it is collected. That's the plan.
I love the design of this whole page with like this. You got the starting line, you got the announcers, and then you got the racer, like the lineup down the side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's the last piece that we need to get to 3D Robin, so he can complete his lettering. Is the things about these racers. Some of them are really important to the overall story. Some of them are effectively red shirts, but we got to get that written. But man, I love the announcers. Tully and Jim Bob. Holy fuck, they're funny. I love that stuff.
Well, and this is something that's kind of new for me too. This is not my specialty. So with Peter's book, it's more of a horror book. I've never done horror before. Obviously I've never done anything before. But horror is not my specialty at all. This is not something that I set out to do until the idea kind of morphed into kind of a superhero book into a horror superhero book. Now with this thing, it's more sci-fi. It's really off the wall. It's a little more, what's the word? It's zanier. Is that a word? Zanier?
Yeah,
and there's a little more comedy in this. Like there's a lot more room for comedy in Crash Course, I think. It's a lot different than everything else I do. So this has been a challenge. Like Crash Course has really been a challenge for me.
Yeah, it's actually been one of the most fun projects for me because a standard part of storytelling is to have an unreliable narrator. In Crash Course, Tully and Jim Bob here are race announcers. They're the most unreliable narrators you could ever come across, but they're actually narrating the story through their race commentary as we sit back and watch this race unfold.
Which I think is a unique thing, right? We were kind of trying to find ways to make the thing unique. We were thinking, well, I don't know if it's ever been done. Maybe it has, but we're going to treat the race announcers as our narrators, And at least in these installments, right? Now, when we get to some of the backstory and other parts of the book that is released, there's going to be other narration, of course. But what we want to present to you in the magazine is a series of races, which kind of set up the book itself.
Yeah, I love that, the whole idea of that. You got the announcers or your narrators, and like Steve said, for whatever reason, that's one of those things that I love about some fiction is the unreliable narrator. That like because you're taught when you read books that you trust your narrator. You know, he is your guide through the story. And when you have narrators that you can't trust, it throws a whole different aspect to the story out there.
Yeah.
Our narrators are not only unreliable, they are somewhere between drunk and hungover. So
Yep. Well put.
That's awesome. I'm excited for Crash Course. Yeah, Sims, obviously, he's in the chat. He says, Hail Crash Course is also something very different for me. I'm used to sci-fi, but not cars, racing, etc.
Yeah, we killed Sim with cars. I mean, because we were just sitting around one night. I don't remember, like 3 in the morning. We were fucking smoking a blunt, and I'm talking to Sam. We're just brainstorming ideas, and for some reason we got on cars. Like, why isn't someone doing a car comic? Like, that's cool. And then we were talking to, like, can you do it, Sim? Is it going to annoy you to do a bunch of these cars? And I think at the time he was thinking, yeah, I got this. And, he showed us some drawings, and he did. We were like, fuck, this looks great, Sim, like, let's do this. And then we kind of got into the project, and I think by the end of it, he's probably sick of cars.
He's really sick. He's really sick of cars. He's really sick of me because, comics is my love, but racing is my religion. So I'm kind of a bit of a taskmaster on that deal. I'm like, no, dude, you got to have him. We need some oversteer. He's like, what the fuck is oversteer? And I'm like, that's when you back it in, bro. And he's like, what does that mean? And I'm like, God damn it, Sim. So yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Sim's great. I mean, this is phenomenal. There's going to be really cool perks associated with this that you can buy. You can actually die in this book. You can die in Jumpstart as part of Crash Course. So, I think that's a really cool, unique thing that Sim is adding to the whole project itself. Dude, and like I said, it's so hard to pick one over the other. So I'm working with 4 great dudes. They're all great in their own way. They're all unique. All these projects are different, and I can't pick one over the others. Is the fucked up thing,
I mean, yeah, like we said, circling back around to what we said in the beginning, these are all your children. How do you pick your favorite kid?
Yeah, I know.
But I think and another thing that'd be hard to pick your favorite is because each of these stories that you're doing is so vastly different from the other ones.
Yeah. Well, that was one of my things too for doing this. I was thinking, well, if I'm going to do this, it's a kind of a chance to showcase what I can actually do. If I can pull off 4 different genres in one book, you tell me. I mean,
right.
Yeah,
I mean, this is ComicsGate. We should be taking risks. We should be, pushing ourselves to figure out what we can and can't do. So I think you're doing it right, man.
I mean, that's a big part of what keeps me invested and interested in doing it. I mean, yeah, Gat, he is dabbling in 4 different genres and doing it extremely well. And it's, and we've got Sim, and we've got Doodle, and we've got Peter, and we've got all these different guys working on it. And, in one way, pun very much intended, Crash Course is well within my wheelhouse. And then the thing that we're doing with Doodle Bags is very much fantasy based, and that's where Gat's coming from, and Doodle's great at it. So it's kind of like it's really hard to, again, racing. It's been my whole life, so I'm into that. But then when you have a shiny new toy, you're like, oh shit, this is cool. Magic, schools of magic, mages. It's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, and then that's the thing. It's like I don't know. I know I can do fantasy, right? Like I've done it before, even before I decided to write comic books. When I was younger, I used to write short story fantasy novels. not novels, I'm sorry, but short fantasy stories. And, they would be anywhere from 15 to 40 pages long. And they were pretty good, man. It wasn't good enough to publish, surely, right? And it surely wasn't enough material, but it was something I took an interest in, and I did it often enough to where I practiced writing fantasy. As I get into this stuff with Peter and with Sim, sci-fi and horror, it's like my first time, right? So it's like that's why it's so challenging for me. Like I know I can write fantasy. I'm a huge history nut. I think people that are into Vestige and Bulletmaker, those type of things, both those projects are very similar, where they come from a level of a kind of history being twisted and fictionalized. So I don't know. Those things are so vastly different than what I'm doing with Peter and Sim, that it's like a whole new world for me. I had to learn all over again how to properly write. Even the character development themselves, I have to do it differently because of in the magazine, I only have a certain amount of pages to work with, right? So it's something that, it's not an easy task when you're writing 12-page stories, series, or even a 6-page preview that you want to get off before you've actually written a book. It's a little harder, but yeah, man, it's kind of like practice. Jumpstart's been good practice. Let's put it that way.
Perth Comics in the chat. Hail, thank you for joining us. Says, do romance next, Gat.
Like okay, well, let me tell you this. Okay, well, I'm about to blow your mind.
Oh shit.
So I don't have, it is kind of romance. So I have an IP I'm working on, and everyone's gonna laugh. I've talked about it once before, but it's called Racist Angel, right?
Oh yeah.
And Racist Angel, I want to put it in Jumpstart too. In fact, that might be the only thing I really work on, other than the 2 things I'm doing with Sim and Peter ongoing. That I might only do Racist Angel and Jumpstart and those 2 things. But anyway, Racist Angel is a little bit of a love story. So it's about I'll give you a brief synopsis of that shit. So it's about an angel that falls from heaven, right? She's kicked out of heaven because she's just, I don't know, she's a little too much like a Kardashian, right? She just doesn't want to listen to, just like Jesus is a fuddy-duddy and God's got all these rules, and like it's so much more fun to, probably go hang out with humans, right? Well, she gets her wish. She's booted out of heaven, and now we pick up her life a couple years later, where she's basically living in a trailer park, and she's dealing with everything that we deal with in normal life in modern day. But yet she's a divine being, right? But yet she doesn't have access to the pearly gates anymore. So we kind of pick up where she's in a trailer park now, and she's got a regular job, and she's got regular friends, and it's kind of, like I said, it kind of turns into a love story. So
this sounds interesting as fuck. I gotta say.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
And you asked,
you talk about this
ask
before.
Yourself, Adam, is she racist? And I will tell you, yes, she is racist. But she's also an angel, right? So she's racist against humans, all humans. Do you see what I'm saying?
I always felt like it was more in the comedy genre, and I was perfectly comfortable. But now that it's a love story, I'm like thinking, fuck.
Steve's backing out. He's like, back it up here,
well,
Gat.
it's very much a comedy love story, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not actually backing up on it. Yeah,
I think
probably the hardest I've laughed is having Gat tell me the story of Racist Angel. I couldn't even keep my notes straight because I was just laughing my ass off.
Yeah, I've actually written the first story of that, so.
Well.
Andino Palacio says her love interest is a weed-smoking writer named Gan.
That's essentially also a spoiler.
No, but let me tell you, there is a weed. She has a best friend. He's a black guy named Daryl, and he smokes weed.
Yeah.
Works at the pizza place with her.
I think if Wenger can pull off Super Harem, you can pull off Racist Angel.
Dude, I'm definitely doing it in Jumpstart too. I mean, Steve has no choice.
No, I'm in. I'm in. I'm just going to continue to think of it as a comedy. But yeah, I'm in.
No, it is a comedy though. It is.
It's a rom-com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite. It's more of a rom, I guess. Like in the end, I mean, there's just parts of love in it, right? I mean, you'll see in my books. Let me think. I don't want to give away spoilers. Never mind.
Yeah, spoilers. But yeah, it doesn't suffer fools lightly, so I can get behind that. So I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, everyone will love Racist Angel. I think she'll be like ComicsGate sweetheart. So.
Yeah.
No, I actually like it. I want to see you. I want to see you run with it. Just because when you write stories, you go all in.
Yeah,
I mean,
brother.
your world building and character building is just off the charts. So I want to see what you do with this.
Hey, brother. I appreciate the compliment. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, like I said, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. I love Vestige. I love Bulletmaker. I love all these other IPs. Racist Angel's the best.
It's funniest for sure. I can tell you, that, yeah, I mean, it's somewhere, but, the needle sways between super fun and, like, infuriating as fuck. But Gat's got his, well, yeah, it's going to, it will.
I'm here to piss people
really
off
funny.
now.
Yeah, it's really fucking funny, though. So.
Here's the way I figure it out. I look at it like this. If I can put out 5 serious IPs projects and they're all great, at least I hope people think they're great, right? At least I think they're great, so I'm doing them. If I can do that, then I can do a little kind of crazy, nutty shit, at least one, right? So I invented Racist Angel for the fuck of it.
I like that you just want to piss people off. I think that'll take you far.
It's got its trigger points. Let's just say that.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I didn't know we were talking Racist Angel tonight. It's just, man, I love it so much.
We're just kind of spitballing here,
Right? Yeah, I didn't mean to. I get high and forget, Spoiler, Steve.
Yeah, riding with Gat 101.
Yeah.
that's
so
how it
yeah,
works.
I guess I could go ahead and just ruin everyone's Steve's day and mention my fucking Red Baron one shot.
Please do.
Okay, so I also wrote a one shot, a one time off story, which, man, now that I've written it, I don't want to make it a one shot, obviously. It's called The Son of Red Baron. So, I mean, basically we're picking up where, the Red Baron, it's in World War II where his son has now kind of taken up the mantle of his father, right? And so, I mean, I guess that's really all I really want to tell about it, Steve, to be honest with you.
That's all I want you to tell about it.
Well, that was a fucking teaser.
Well, no, and I hate to be like that. It's like, essentially, yeah, it's Son of Red Baron. So just imagine that. Now, obviously, there's other aspects to it because my stories are all fucking, multi-plotted, right? But essentially, that's what it's about. It's set in actual history, right? It's going to be historically accurate. We need someone that can draw planes, biplanes, and shit.
Ooh, biplanes.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. If you could draw a convincing Fokker triplane, and you can also draw a P-51 Mustang. I'll go so far as to say it shifts from World War I to World War II. But if you're out there and you're listening, and you can convincingly draw a triplane Fokker and also a P-51 Mustang, you could be our guy. The DMs are open.
Yeah.
This just became a talent search.
Well, they're doing ComicsGate talent search, right? Well, I'm always doing it. They just now started. Fuck, I've been doing it for a year.
Yeah, I kind of laughed at that when I seen that the other day. The Malin put that out, hashtag ComicsGate talent search. It's like, isn't every day a ComicsGate talent search?
Absolutely.
I don't know if we're ready to turn in this direction, but me and Gat and Doodle were talking just last night, and I was like, put on your best party dress and get up on the stage because this is your audition, brother. I mean, that's what we want to do that for everybody. found Doodle, in the dumpster out behind the mall.
True.
And now everybody knows that he's working his way up to being one of the premium D-bags in all the ComicsGate. And that's where we're at with it. So if you can draw a convincing triplane and also a convincing World War II fighter plane, DMs are open, brothers.
Yeah. I mean, this is essentially how you got Joe Ball on Bulletmakers.
Well, I've been eyeing Joe Ball for a long time.
You said, draw me a horse. And he drew you
but here's the thing.
horse.
That's what I'm telling you. I've been eyeing Joe for a long time. They came out with Super Hammer, and I seen it. And even though I'm hella impressed with his work, I've seen some of the other stuff I did, and I was thinking to myself, I have a certain project in mind for Joe because he draws in a certain way, right? I've seen some of the way he does some of his intricate background work, and I'm like, holy fuck, I got something for you.
Yeah.
Well, like I've told you the story before, we went to talk to Joe about that project, and he actually convinced me to do Bulletmaker, which was my next book I was planning on doing anyway. I hadn't chosen an artist yet, but talking to me for a couple hours that night, he kind of convinced me he was the guy for Bulletmaker and not the other project. So that's what happened.
It started like I've got this other thing that I'm doing, and it's about this. And then Joe started giving us so much great input on how that story could develop that, it just like came to me all at once. I was like, can you draw fucking horses? And turns out he can. So, reassignment took place right then.
Yep. And then, that's when the whole, I knew Joe was the guy for Bulletmaker at that point. He's gonna, everyone, rightfully so. You see death. I mean, this thing is fucking phenomenal. It's gonna blow people's heads apart. Bulletmaker is really the same way. I mean, imagine death, but with a Gat Hanzo story. It's like, okay, there you go.
Yeah. I obviously love Vestige deeply, and yet the best thing that Gat's done. I mean, how you going to pick a kid, let alone Gat's kid? But Bulletmakers, man. That project, I love that story. I love what Joe's doing with it. I just want to work on Bulletmaker.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like I said, I fell in love with Vestige at first. I kind of was over it, and I threw it away like it was a trash baby. I didn't care anymore. And then I really fell in love with Bulletmaker, which, I've been doing it now for a while. And, me and Joe's been working on it for a little bit, not a long time, but for a couple months at least. And once we started getting into it, it was like, man, now I'm in love with Bulletmaker, right? And I forgot about Vestige. And then the Vestige copy showed up. The proof showed up at my door. And then I was like, oh, I remember this. This is my baby.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking through the thing, and it's beautiful. So, I mean, I guess I'll go ahead and announce it now. I know I did earlier, too, but Vestige 2 is coming. We're working out for the artist now. I mean, obviously, Donald has a bunch of shit coming out. There's no way he's going to be able to meet my timeline for when I want to break Vestige 2, right? It's just impossible with the projects that he's taken on. And I know he has his own stuff he's doing. So we're working on an artist now. We're going to find us an artist. We'll announce that soon. But Vestige 2 is coming, I would say, into September or October. So
Oh, look, we have more breaking gay news apparently. Roro says Methwin shaved his head.
Good. Got rid of the Jesse Miller dude.
That is probably a smart choice. That's probably the best decision he's made all year.
Wait a minute though. If he shaved his head, what will he do with his hands?
I don't know.
Pick
he's
his
lost
nose.
his damn mind, though. You know that's how we know he's lost his mind, because he loves his hair, or he did, right?
Yeah, but didn't he? He cut his hair after we started giving him so much shit about it the first time, didn't he? And then he kind of grew it back.
I can't remember.
As if I wasn't already not watching that channel. I'm totally not tuning in to watch that guy run his hands incessantly over his bald head.
Yeah.
The ace in the chat, hail Edwin. He says, has the good Edwin, I must say, has Donald done the sketches for the book for Vestige?
Yes, sir. He has. They're sitting at my house, Edwin.
Nice. So yeah, that's pretty much ready to go. You get those books in, and it's pack them up and ship them out.
Yeah. I got the original art and the sketches sitting at my house right now. I got the proof sitting at my house. We tried out the packing, our kind of packing. We didn't want to order it all at once, and if it wasn't going to work right, so we had to wait for the book to actually show up. So we tried out the packaging that we're doing, and it works perfectly. So yeah, that stuff will be coming shortly before the books. And then this fucking place is going to be a mess, and I'm going to be busy. And I'm probably going to be gone for like 3 weeks until this is done. But I'm going to get all these fucking books out as quickly as possible so we can get into Jumpstart.
Gat is up to his ass in bubble wrap, cardboard mailers, and war campaign stickers. So it's happening.
I almost forgot about the stickers.
Stickers, posters, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fucking mess. My house is. I'm not going to be able to walk through my house, literally.
Gat is sitting on a stack of posters right now.
What you need to do is you need to get a truck and go down to your local Home Depot, and the people that stand outside the Home Depot, you just load them up in the back of the truck and bring them over for. They probably get it done in, I'm sure, one long afternoon.
That's the thing. I can't trust no one else with my baby. I'm gonna wrap each one myself. I'm gonna put gloves on. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be super careful with these things. So
yeah, I actually
everyone to get them and be happy. You know?
I was actually gonna suggest that one of the times we were talking is to make sure you wear gloves so you don't damage the goods.
I've already thought about that. Yeah, dude, I'm not, and I know because I know how people are, man. You know. So I'm going to be as careful as I possibly can with these things. Like I said, we have set up. We're going to bag them. We're going to put them inside a bubble bag as well, and then we got Gemini mailers. So I think they're going to be nice and secure.
Yeah, exactly. Delivered lovingly to your door by the wizard himself through the auspices of the Gemini mailer. It's happening.
Hail. So what else do we want to talk about here?
I think we hit everything except for Ruins of Adirion, which is
Ruins, yes.
I got one more thing, but we can do that thing for sure.
Yeah, go ahead and do that first, Steve. I can roll blunt.
All right, because what we do have is I've been basically, our cover artist is of course Andrew Hawarda, and moreover he is the central long form interview subject. It's a really, really great.
Oh shit! I almost forgot about that. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, well, it's a great interview. Me and Gat and Hawarda talked for hours, and it's a substantial job trying to squish it into a given number of pages for the magazine. I've been basically harassing Andrew about I need artwork to illustrate this. I can't have a long form interview in a comics magazine that's all text. And Andrew would respond like he did on Saturday or Sunday. He said, "I'm at Disneyland, dude. F off." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's great, but when you get home, but yeah, he is. It was kind of unexpected, but I was like, we need this and we need that, and he is drawing an original piece of art. Obviously the cover is an original piece. But he's also drawn an original piece within the interior of the book, and I lost that window. You're not screen sharing me right now, are you, brother?
No, I was waiting until I seen it come up on the thumbnail.
Okay, all right. Now I can do it. I just wanted to make sure. This is a work in progress here.
Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah, good to go.
All right.
From my end, and I don't know if the customers out there can handle it, but. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Some original Sovereign that it's hadn't been done yet. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have in the Jumpstart. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I literally woke up to this morning. A DM from the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm doing an original piece. Here it is, and I've got a more finished piece, but I'm gonna leave it at this because I just love. Andrew's blue line work, his sense of composition, and I thought it'd be fun for everybody to see kind of the work in progress from a genius like Andrew.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I think that's super cool because I've never seen any of his like process pieces before. So getting to see his blue lines and then where he's starting to ink it there on the face a little bit. I can't wait to see him flesh this bad boy out because I mean this is just some sick work.
I'm running this big. It's going right across the fold. I'm running this big. But yeah, we were fortunate enough to have Andrew do our cover, and we were even more fortunate that he gave us Gat, 5 or 6 different. He thumbnailed us up half a dozen times over. What about this one? What about that one? And then I got to do my editor thing and say, well, I need a logo and I need room for this and that, and on that one, the general stuff. And but yeah, it was just great to have him give us, 5 or 6 things to choose from and to see it kind of a work in progress. Do you want me to continue with this, or do you want me to continue with that? And it was really tough not to say yes.
Everything.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'll have one of each, please.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's got, like I was talking about the writers too, but I mean, obviously, the art's going to be on display in this thing. It's guys like Huerta, that they really make ComicsGate what it is now. Like it was one thing before. People wanted to keep constantly bringing up the old argument about old ComicsGate and new ComicsGate. Well, I mean, now we got guys like Huerta, who support us just as much as we support them. These great artists that have all showed up here now, and they want to make good books for people, right? They're tired of the fucking industry bullshit, just like you are. These are guys in this magazine. There are guys in this magazine that have been turned down by the industry at every fucking level, right? They tell Andrew Huerta his work ain't fucking good enough.
Yeah, and
which just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And every one of these guys the same way, right? You could say the same for every one of these guys, dude. So they don't want them. Yeah. Marvel and DC didn't want them. Guess what? We want them here at ComicsGate, and we sure in the fuck want them on JUMPSTART.
Damn right.
This is what we got.
I know. It's just I hate to see the way the mainstream has gone, but by all means, keep sending talent our way.
Yeah.
Yeah, please
keeping
do.
The scrubs, right? Keep the scrubs on the team, and then give us all the good people by all means.
Yeah, we'll take them. We'll take all your Vinnies and all your Sims, all your Joe Balls, all your Huertas. Send them all our way. We will give them all jobs and make sure they at least see 5 figures.
Yep. That's somebody
tweeted out the other day, and forgive me that I can't quite remember who. I think it was maybe Vic. I don't know, but it was. I don't know. It might have been Vinny, but it was that Hulk thing where She-Hulk rather, where basically she's killing civilians and crunching cop cars and so forth, and the storyline, it's abysmal, it's ridiculous, it's anti-patriarchy, all that good stuff. But my response to it was that in the wake of Buscemi or Ramita Jr. or Frank Cho or somebody like that, the line work is the real crime, because it's deviant art, it's low level, it's Cal Arts.
It looks like it looks like a Sunday cartoon page.
Wow.
It is the most one-dimensional shit I've ever seen. There's no variation in the line weight. There's no inherent storytelling whatsoever.
I haven't seen the new She-Hulk at all.
I've only, just some stuff I saw on Twitter, but I was just like, are you shitting me? She-Hulk's like Frank Cho, It's like, wow, she would kick my ass, but I'd let her. Whereas, what you're putting up there now, it's just like, no thanks. Yeah, I'm out. Yeah.
Well, wasn't it they're going to do the movie or something, or maybe the TV show? I don't know.
The TV show. Yeah, that's in the works right now.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, they're going to fucking ruin that, I'm sure.
I doubt it's going to be good.
Yeah. Opportunity to have a big-titted green woman running around with her titties flopping, and they're going to ruin it. Like, it's not that hard. Yeah. Not that hard to do.
Yeah.
Nope. She'll be a very tall green man with long hair.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean,
I
you
hope
always,
not,
you
but
know,
yeah.
I always want it to be good, but fuck, dude. I mean, you know, at this point, we know better. It won't be. It'll be horrible.
Yep.
No, and honestly, prepare yourself for the worst. And if it does so happen to be good, then you're pleasantly surprised. You know, it's
True.
kind of like the I don't know if you guys were into the Mandalorian, but you know, it's like, oh, this is probably going to be trash.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this actually isn't so bad. They did
Yeah.
pretty decent with this.
That's fucked up though that they lower your expectations on stuff that is,
Man.
you know, iconic,
subvert expectations.
Well,
Like,
that's the difference in what we're doing at ComicsGate and what, you know, the off ramp that somehow mainstream. I don't know. I hesitate to call it creation, but you know, it's here. The old saw is that you plan for the best and prepare for the worst. ComicsGate is about planning for the best, and mainstream entertainment is about preparing for the worst.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
agree.
sad, but so true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here at ComicsGate, it's like we refuse to accept this horrible standard, right? I think that's a lot to do with ComicsGate going forward and the projects people bring out. We really do have to get better, and we have to be consistently better than what they're doing. And if we do that, everyone here has a chance. Because the industry is on the verge of fucking collapse. They don't give two shits about it. The only thing propping it up is the fact that these are multi-billion-dollar corporations, and it doesn't fucking really hurt them at the end of the day. That little profit fucking loss, it doesn't hurt them. But you know it does hurt them? Fucking bad publicity in this shit. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we should think about that as ComicsGate. We actually achieved something here. We're fighting back. Every creator in ComicsGate has an equal opportunity, equal chance. There's no, I mean, people will talk about gates, but really the only thing you have to do is come in here, grab a door, and not be a cunt. That's all we're asking.
Hell, brother.
So apparently that's too much for some people, though.
But that's gatekeeping, though. Like, since when is asking someone to not be a fucking cunt and fucking be, you know, maybe help a few people out a bad thing? Like, that's literally all we're asking. Hang around with the guys. Don't just, you know, it's like people want to walk in here and launch a campaign. They're gonna feel sorry that they can't get funded, you know, because I've seen it happen to guys, right? And then I've seen guys that stuck around and did it the right way, and then now they're getting funded. It's like, anyone, I mean, I'm not gonna say anyone can do it if you have a solid business plan, you have a good idea from the beginning, and you have a great artist, then you can
get cut out. So I'll continue. I mean, it's all, you know, it's you take our own Sim. He experienced you know, not an extreme level of success. He had his setbacks. Did he go away mad and start complaining and start tweeting at Caesar that, you know, you didn't make me a millionaire? No, he didn't. He regrouped and he revamped. Michael Murphy with his books
Say it was Samurai and Dinosaur, the first one.
Yeah, Samurai and Dinosaur. Now he's back with The Gods Fear Me, and it's a great looking book, and it's funded.
He's close to cracking that 12K stretch goal mark too. So he's doing good.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we were talking about perseverance about an hour or so ago, and that's what it takes.
I can hear you, Gat.
All right. I don't know where I cut out, but yeah, you just finished my thoughts. Like, you know, guys just like Sim who hung around and he worked tirelessly. He put out all this fan art, and, you know, I mean, he's helping other people promote their projects. Like, this is how you become a creator in ComicsGate. It's not hard.
Yeah, persistence is key. I mean, yeah, you can't just get discouraged and then put your tail between your legs and scurry off back underneath the bushes. You pick yourself back up and you try again. I mean, you know, there's no science behind any of this, you know, crowdfunding, ComicsGate, anything like that yet. You just gotta do your best to get your name out there, and hopefully people take that, and, you know, a big part of his personality also, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, right? It's like, that's the kind of the second biggest aspect of this whole thing is you do have to build up your own platform. You have to be able to get eyes on your project. You cannot rely on other platforms to do that.
Yeah, and that was the big thing, you know, that we talked about with Sim when he was doing his relaunch, is that, you know, he went out there and he started, like Steve said, did all this fan art for all these, you know, different projects out there just for the hell of it. You know, didn't ask for a damn thing, just helping other projects and getting exposure for himself. And the whole thing was, when he relaunched, is that we wanted to do it without the help of Malin or EVS or any of the big channels. We wanted to show that you can get a book funded just by doing the, you know, the smaller circuit, like Red Gaze, myself, you know, Graded 0.5, you know, basically any of the channels out there under 1,000 subs. And granted, Gaze and Graded 0.5 now are, you know, they've cleared that 1,000 sub mark, but
Yeah.
at the time, you know, they were still smaller growing channels. And, you know, we had Bloodhunt was funded in the first 2 weeks. You know, he didn't get funded in the first 60 days the first go around, and then he was funded in 2 weeks the second time.
You've got to be willing to push the rock up the hill. You know, I mean, all of life is, you know, you've got to be willing to push the rock up the hill. You got to put your back into it, and you got to put your shoulder into it. Adam, quit sharing me so I can drop and come back in. I can't hear that. Okay.
Oh.
Can't hear me?
Guess not.
You can hear me, Adam?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
He was like, yeah, you cut out. I was like, fuck.
Give me some confirmation that I'm not going to give any spoilers so I can drop and come back in.
Can you hear me now?
You're good. You're good, Steve.
Okay. All right. I'll be back in a second. Sorry about that.
Jesus, this is boomerific.
Yeah, he's really we got the Boomer Trophy tonight, man.
Okay.
I don't know. StreamYard can be he can be kind of fucky sometimes. I don't know. It's got its issues. It's gotten a lot better, but it still ain't quite perfect. So who the hell knows?
Well, anyway, I guess we can get into Ruins of Darion.
Yeah, we start talking about that.
Ruins of Darion. So this is my book with Doodle Bags, D-Bags, that's going into CG Jumpstart. It's actually it's already written. It's a 48-page book. I actually broke it down in segments to kind of preview it into Jumpstart because I wanted to see what Doodle could do, right? And so this is number one. This is not his forte. He's not a fantasy guy. He can draw the stuff, but he's not into that stuff. Which, I mean, if you're an artist who's into certain stuff, they're probably better at drawing it. But he's not into it. But yet, he did great on this shit, man. I mean, his line work's exceptional. I mean, everyone loves Doodle. You see him on Drawn and Backhold. You know, he's a witty kid. You know, even though I found him in the trash can, I kind of look at him like he has potential. You know.
I love the whole background story of Doodle is that it's never the same story either. It's found him in a trash can, found him out by the dumpster behind a Burger King.
Food court.
Food court, yeah.
Yeah. I found him at
the mall. The kid's fucking talented though. Like, holy shit, is he talented.
And it's amazing that no one else has seen it already. Like, I go through every day and I look for artists, and I mean, I look at it, right? I follow as many artists as I can on Twitter to see their work. And yeah, I'd been following the kid for a while. And dude, I just kept on seeing the stuff he was doing for Gigadeath, and I was like, dude, man, like this is really quality work. What else can you do? Because I'm never like interested in what people's already doing. It seems like, right? I always want to see what else they can do. So I need to kind of see what, you know, how far an artist kind of can go into different genres and different design. So I wanted to give Doodle something crazy off the wall. He's not into fantasy. So I gave him a fantasy book, of course.
I mean, you did the same thing with Donald, though. You know, you look at Donald's style, and then you were like, Donald, you're an amazing artist, but I don't want you to draw like you.
Yeah,
I want you to change it up.
That is crazy, isn't it? But no, I've seen something in Donald because not all of his stuff is the same. I really... Like, I pay more attention to artwork than I do anything else on Twitter. I'll be honest with you. So, like, I had been following Donald for a long time, too. And I'd seen some of the, you know, other things he had done. I can't remember what the hell it was that stood out. I don't know if it was Daredevil or something, man. There was something he drew. and it stood out to me. And then I seen some of the Rainbow Brute stuff he did, right? And it was like, dude, this is amazing. Like, he can do anything. I knew Donald could do anything at that point. He just didn't like to. He didn't like to draw Vestige. I'm telling you right now, he hated it. He fucking it was a nightmare for Donald, I bet. Not that he wasn't good enough to do it. It's just not his style. It's not what he likes to do, you know? So
sometimes you gotta push these artists.
well, yeah.
You gotta, just like we were talking about writing, you gotta push the boundaries, make yourself a little uncomfortable. Think outside the borders. Same goes for artists, push your style. Look at Gilmore. Gilmore's, you look at his artwork, that he does, the old fashioned way, pen and ink, and then look at his digital work, and
totally
it's
different, huh?
Totally fucking different.
Night and day, man. That's why I looked at his stuff and I was like, dude, Peter. At first I was like, Peter, don't do it. I want you to keep doing it the traditional way because I like it that way. But man, after seeing his stuff, it's like you said, it's so different. I was thinking to myself, well, Peter, you're kind of limiting yourself if you don't do that then, Yeah.
Yeah. So, artists, just like writers, you got to push yourself and, find your comfort zone and go outside of it.
Yeah.
Break barriers. Like I said, I said this earlier in the stream too. CG is all about trying new things. So why not try new things with your art styles and see what you're really capable of? Because that, in my mind, is the true test of an incredible artist, is an artist that can change up their style and not just be Jim Lee and draw, the same, amazing work, but the same every time you look at it. Show me an artist that can
versatile.
That versatility, that be a chameleon. That's what I love to see. That's the true artist.
Well, there's different kinds, right, Adam? So, for instance, Donald and Huerta, I compare these two dudes. Huerta, if he wanted to draw in another style, he could. But with him, I would never ask him to, right? And it's not because I like Donald's original style any less than Huerta's. It's just because Huerta's so good at that, what is thing, and there's no one else that does it like Huerta. You know what I mean? Like, it's so unique, so you can never.
He is pretty fucking unique.
Whereas Donald, it's not that he's not unique, but other people draw really dynamically, just like Donald. Like, it's not, not taking anything away from the man. He's brilliant in his own right, but it's not as unique as what Huerta's is. So it's a little different, I think. I would never ask, like, if I could ever get Huerta to do Vestige, which it'll never happen because I've asked 100,000 times. But if I could ever get him to do it, I wouldn't want him to change his style one bit. It would be exactly like Sovereign is what I would want Vestige to look like.
We would love to keep Donald on Vestige. I don't know that logistically it's possible because he's got so many things going on. But yeah, Huerta's got that kinetic energy where you wouldn't want him to do it any other way. In a lot of ways, Huerta's art kind of embodies ComicsGate to me because it's so unique and it has got so much, again, kinetic energy to it where it's like, yes. And, and then I'm not at the other end of the spectrum, but Donald, if you look at what he does with Brutus, it's amazing. What he's done with Vestige is amazing. Totally different styles. What he's doing with Cash Grab is another style altogether. And it looks, Cash Grab.
Remember when Huerta was showing the art he did from years ago? It was like a priest or the Pope, the Dark Pope or something. Yeah, remember that? Yeah. And it wasn't like wasn't like Vestige. Of course, it wasn't like Vestige. It wasn't like Sovereign at all. The way he did it, right? Yeah. But it's just the fact that he's developed this such a unique style that I would never want him to draw different. I wouldn't, Whereas I think Donald, I think in general he's a little more versatile than what Huerta is. Even though he still has his own unique, defined style of his own.
That level of talent manifests itself in different ways. And part of planning out a project and trying to make it happen is trying to find the right guy for the right project. It's undeniable that Donald can do whatever Donald wants to do. I mean, he's he's got 3 almost, they're not concurrent campaigns, but what he's doing with Brutus, to repeat myself, what he's doing with Brutus, what he did with Vestige, what he's doing with Cash Grab, 3 entirely different things. And then no less talented at Horde at the same time is a shooting star with how he does things. And why would you want to rein that in?
No, I'd actually I'd want to tailor my story to Huerta's art style is how I would probably go about that. Like if you were doing a Vestige book with him, I don't know if you could tell the story from a certain point of view that would work well, with his art style.
Yeah.
If you kind of get my drift.
Here's the thing, he would probably be better for Bulletmaker, but I plan on keeping Joe on Bulletmaker. We already kind of talked ahead of the time, and Joe was like, "Yeah, man, let's do all these together." So with Donald, we never really knew. We never, I wanted to give him Vestige too, but I also knew he had some amazing opportunities and his own projects too. He's doing, and it's just no way to fit it in his schedule. If I want to do Vestige 2 this year, there's just no way, right?
Yeah.
And I can't reasonably expect guys who paid for Vestige 1 to wait that long for Vestige 2. I got to get this book out here. I want to get it done before 7-8 years. I don't want that to take that long to complete my story arc. I would love to get it done in 4 or 5 years.
Right. Yeah, and I mean that's like you said, you don't want to drag it out for 8 whole years just to keep consistent on the same artist. I mean, hell, you noticed your boy Zach didn't keep mailing on for Jawbreakers too.
Yeah.
It's
probably he ran into the same problem. It's like Mailing had his own thing he was developing too. It's like these guys, and I don't blame them. That Brutus is Donald's baby too, so I can't take that away from him. And the fact that he's on Cash Grab, good lord, that's a huge book. It's like he's going to be drawing that for a little while. I got to reasonably start Vestige 2, within a month or two.
Yeah.
So,
and there's no shame in switching up your artist. I mean, look at how many books out there for their first volume had one artist, and then the remaining however many had a different one afterwards. Walking Dead probably most notably. So there's definitely no shame in that. And I mean, the way you're doing them anyways, I mean, you could probably do a different artist for each volume and make it still feel very coherent. Like I said.
Well, let me reveal this to you. This is kind of a spoiler, Steve, but we can talk about it.
I'm just gonna mute him if he starts yelling.
Yeah, do it.
God damn it.
It's not really, though. It's my idea for how I was going to run my series. So, for instance, Donald did the interior art. Caesar did the cover on this, right? I really would like Donald to do the cover of the next one, kind of like passing the torch along, right?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Whoever does the interior art will do the cover on Vestige 3. You see what I'm saying? And so forth. So, maybe we can do that, and, I can kind of move it along, kind of like passing the torch. If I do indeed end up changing artist every time, I think that's what I'll do.
That's a neat idea. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's really kind of a unique way to do it. If I don't, then I mean, it's whatever. I can, I can keep the same artist if I'm really happy with the next guy that I choose and his schedule is open. When I need Vestige to be done, but I'm really not. I can't. Me being a writer, I can't reasonably expect people who are into Vestige to wait that long to read the next volume. I can't do it.
Yeah.
No, that's just sensible.
I'm extremely torn between wanting. I mean, I've got bookshelves full of trade paperbacks, and it's a little bit jarring when there's an artist substitute. It's great when it's a cohesive thing from beginning to end. At the same time, other than Gat, I'm the only other guy that knows the complete story of Vestige, and I don't want to wait that long for it to get out there. I want to tell this story. I want to help Gat tell that story because I know how it ends, brother, and there's a lot of twists and turns. I want to make it happen.
You know what though, Gat? If you're, if you do end up building on that kind of that way of doing your artists with the covers and everything, the only proper way to do it is to go full circle, and volume 8 would have to be done by Caesar.
Oh my God! I mean, obviously, that's It's beyond even dream even happening, right? For me to get the cover originally, it's like, dude, that's a dream come true, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. I would never even dare to ask the man. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, he's got his own shit. But yeah, if there's any way I could pay him, like, here's the thing, Adam. If Vestige ever got big enough and there's any way I could pay him to do it to where it'd be worth his time, I would pay him every bit of money to fucking end the series. Everything he wanted, I would pay him if I could do it.
It would be pretty epic. I'd start on him now. Be like, hey, listen, okay, so I want you in 5 years to do this book for me.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Pay him a page at a time. You know,
yeah, just slowly get that book paid off like a car payment, man.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. You know, it's like, what's Caesar's page rate even? It's like, dude,
I have no idea.
You can't offer him anything that he can't get on his own. So, you know, I don't know. I would love it, obviously. I mean, Adam, I'm smiling right now, brother. If that could ever happen, that's fucking amazing. But let's not hold our breath, I guess.
All right. He is doing a special trading card for Jumpstart, which is pretty fucking cool too.
Yeah, I do believe he is going to do that. I forgot all about that. Yeah.
He admitted it. I have it on recording. He was on the stream, like 3 weeks ago, whenever that was. Yeah. He said straight up he'd do a trading card for you guys.
Awesome. For the book. I think he said it was going to be exclusive, so like an exclusive Cyber Frog. So I mean, there you go. I mean, you can't beat that. I think he said, yeah, man, let's go ahead and do that for Jumpstart. And he said he was building a game and all this other crap.
That's what I've heard him. He's working on putting like an actual like trading card game together with
crazy.
With these cards that he's putting out. So yeah, I think that's pretty fucking cool.
I wonder if that's what he meant by this will be part of the game or not. I wonder. I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah, that would be amazing if so.
Yeah, more incentive to pick up the magazine. Well, boys, we are at our 2-hour mark. Is there anything else you guys wanted to get off your chest before we get out of here this week?
Just, nah. Vestige is coming shortly, and yeah, Jumpstart will be, I mean, we're getting on the ball. We'll have a pre-campaign page up shortly. I think we'll do a mailing list, and yeah, I mean, look for that soon.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll definitely be on top of that. Roro says, I said hail, motherfucker. I said hail, the motherfucking brethren.
Hail, brother. Hail, Roro. Rapé Goblin.
It says EVS is a solid NGA.
Yep.
I'm not saying that.
True, son.
I feel like I know this troll by another name.
True that, Roro.
Yeah. Roro, Bobo, whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming and hanging out tonight, as always. Hail to the chat, you guys as well. Thank you guys for hanging out and asking questions and being interactive. I always appreciate it. Scarlet Crusader, better late than never, bro. Hail Jumpstart, looking forward to more. Yeah, we got a couple more episodes lined up. Hopefully, it'll take us right into the launch of the actual campaign. Then we might take a little bit of a break, little hiatus before we start season 2. But we plan on this. You know, if the magazine's successful and we get on to do, issue 2 of CG Jumpstart, we're definitely going to keep this show rolling and start back over from the beginning and interview all the newest batch of creators that we'll have in the next issue. So,
right on. Hell, brother Adam. Thanks for having us on again.
Yeah,
no, my pleasure,
always
guys.
A good time, man. Always a good time.
Hell yeah, it's always good hanging out. Everybody, make sure, of course, you tune in tomorrow for War Campaign. First on YouTube, then on the Douche Live.
We're taking back holes tomorrow, son.
Oh, it ought to be good. It's been a busy weekend.
Oh yeah.
All righty. Well, thanks again, guys. Everybody else, have a great night.
Hail.
Hail.
Hail the chat. Hail, brother.